G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Astro and Algared. How are we doing? Day 2.
It's going to be a long week. A long 2 weeks.
I'm favorite day.
Not as tired as I was yesterday. Yesterday was pretty horrid. 2 videos in one day in rapid succession is a bit much, but yeah. All right, so kicking it off to the browser. We are off to the browsers. The Avenger Stalker, the staple. I think this has been such a long-lived ship. Still easy to recommend at $60. Your guys' thoughts on that? Start with you, Algared.
It is a very good ship. As we've often said, it is a good starter. At $60, it is cheaper than the new Sulian. It has more cargo than the Sulian. It has...
Well, the Stalker doesn't.
Terrible... No, the Stalker doesn't.
This
You're
is
right.
Yeah, this is the Stalker. I should be...
This is a Stalker.
You
threw me.
Yep. I threw him under the bus. My fault. Yeah, this one. There you go.
You did. So this
They're the same price. It doesn't matter. So yeah.
Yeah, same price. Slightly different cargo. Stalker has none, so it's not really a great starter ship. This is a great starter ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just for the new people, Paul, what is the difference between the Stalker and the Titan? Just for the new people, if you'd be kind enough.
Stalker has prisoner pods, so I can do both real quickly. Titan's great, but the Stalker is going to be an amazing discount bounty hunter ship because it's going to be one of the few ships that actually that we have when bounty hunting version 2 comes out, which will be able to do the job of bounty hunting at a very cheap cost because it's $60 and it's pretty cheap in game 2. So if you're one of those people who's like, I want to do bounty hunting, but you don't want to spend like $500 on any of the other ships, I think the cheapest is the blue, which is like 150.
Yeah.
So like it's still like it's a decent for what it does. So now, Titan's great. It's one of the best.
Yeah, it's the cheapest, but yeah.
Oh, the Hawk's actually more expensive. Isn't the Hawk like $75-$80?
I think it's it is. It's more expensive than this.
Smaller. Certainly smaller.
So getting back to the Titan real quick, I think this a sign of this increasing in price to be the same. I think it really kind of confirms what we expected early on, is that these are going to be interchangeable. So if you do have a Titan, you'll be eventually able to put the bounty hunter pods in and change the guns to make it in the Stalker, and vice versa. But they were thinking about keeping them separate versions initially, and we've had things akin to this effect, like you said yesterday, Algared. The Trejo mission where it only had half the Stalker pods in it. So, yeah.
Which is a classic example from way back. We knew that the pods were going to be removable.
Yep.
But yeah.
All right.
Well, we also know that the Avenger might actually be modular. So when we get to the Warlock, we'll talk a little bit about that too. So
yeah.
Yep. I will point out Algared is not missing part of his head. He's just sitting up too high. There we go. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Back.
Right. In stark contrast to that, though, we do have the Renegade, and I wouldn't recommend this. It's $15 more, and you're essentially paying for a skin and a different weapon loadout. So I think you guys would
Which is worse.
Yeah, quick and dirty. That's not worth it. Yeah. So we can move on from that one.
Unless you're a collector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warlock. All right, Paul, tell us about the Warlock.
It is everything that all of the other Avengers are, but it has a gigantic EMP generator instead of the cargo bay. So if you're looking for cargo space, we don't know. But it could also definitely be modular if we see modularity come in the future. It's one of those ships that has a big chance of being modular, but we don't have 100% confirmation of it yet. But it's a good ship just to have if you want EMP, because it's got the biggest EMP. I don't think there's any ship that has as big of a range of an EMP as the Warlock does. Everyone else is like 500 meters. This is like a kilometer. It can mess up you. So.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been in one in a while. Does it still have the living quarters? I really haven't been in it.
Yes, you just can't get into you can't just go through the back.
So you're essentially giving up the entire cargo bay. It's been a long time. I'm literally talking 5 or 6 years since I've been in this thing. It's been a really long time.
You should go to the floor and check it out.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, let's do a pimp. Wait, let's do a pimp real quick. What are you doing after this show, and where are you going to be, as in the lore tour?
Well, I will be doing a lore tour. Well, it's not this week. It's not today. It's because I got to do it tomorrow. But on Sunday, I will be doing the lore tour for Aegis. And you can find me at twitch.tv/the Astro Pub and youtube.com/the Astro Historian, while I go over the floor with a bunch of people and talk about the entire history of all of the manufacturers and the ships on the floor, and take questions afterwards. So you can kind of climb around a little more.
It's very good because it's like you're actually like in a museum, and Paul's almost like the museum tour guide, and he's walking around and we're walking and then talking. Yeah, it's really like it's like being there but not being there type of thing. I enjoyed them. So yeah,
immersion.
Right.
The other thing with the Warlock, when it first came out, the upgrade to it was actually called a modular, the Warlock module. So that kind of hints that we might be getting modularity with it.
Yeah. All right. One ship and it's over 5 minutes. So we've got to speed this up. 300i. Not 300i. $300 is what I saw. 300i. Right. Eclipse. Really cool niche ship, right? I have one at the moment as a loaner type of thing. It's a cool little ship, but it's so niche and so expensive for what it does. To put this in comparison, you can get the Retaliator bomber for exactly the same price. Now, I can't recommend this ship based on that price. Algared and Paul, I'll defer it over to you. What's your thoughts on the Eclipse?
Unless you like stealth stuff, it's pretty much a worse Retaliator. It might have some niche use if you're enjoying like stealth strikes with your size 9 torpedoes, but the Retaliator bomber is the same price with more torpedoes and more crew capacity, and we'll be getting an upgrade soon. I think the only thing that's really neat think about it is that it's smaller than the Retaliator and it only requires one person to operate.
Yeah,
which is the Retaliator. You definitely need a crew.
Kind of the redundancy thing,
but it's not. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I haven't checked this, but I'd be willing to bet, Algared, that if we went and checked the in-game prices, this would definitely be cheaper than the Retaliator. You'd imagine, yeah?
That would be my guess, but how long? I'm not going to put money on it because some things change. But yeah, I'd be going personally the Retaliator over this. It's a great ship, a lovely ship. It's got coolness, but the Retaliator very small directly on, so it's got a very small cross section, so it does have that kind of stealthy element. But it's also got modules, so it doesn't. The Retaliator doesn't always have to be a bomber.
Exactly, and it's that versatility that really makes the difference. All right, Gladius, in a really good place because it's kind of the Squadron 42 signature ship.
It's a hero ship.
Yeah,
it's the hero ship.
It gets all the first passes and all that type of stuff. So if you want to have a ship that kind of always feels the best, as in the newest, this is it. It's in and out of the meta. I don't know what else to add to that. Algared, what would you add to the Gladius? And would you recommend
Cal Mason learnt to fly on something like a Gladius.
Yeah, that's true.
So Paul loves the Gladius because of that.
Yes, I do. I will also say this is one of those ships that I would not recommend purchasing because you can buy it in game for cheaper. But also, if you have friends and you want to refer them to get the game, or you have other people you want to, one of the awards you get is the Gladius. For free.
You need 10 referrals, and you'll get that for free.
10 referrals if you get 10 people to do it, which I mean, it's easier for content creators, but I mean, that's not too difficult to do if you have friends who are interested in Star Citizen.
Just to put it in perspective, just to put it in perspective, I've only got 14 referrals, and I've been doing this since day dot, so it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah. But I have like 30 referrals, and I've been doing this since day one, and I'm like I don't pimp it out a lot, but like it's one of those things where it's worth the effort to get friends, or if you have friends who are signing up, just to say, hey, use my referral code, so you can get the Gladius rather than like paying $90 for this thing or just getting in game. It's like one of those, just like it's not really worth it.
If you know you're going to spend another $400 on the game, buy 10 referrals yourself.
That's it.
And refer yourself.
Yep.
And get the Gladius. And then use the Gladius as a free $90 CCU to a big ship.
That's literally
$400.
That's literally how that person got the $95 Carrack. That was the starter ship he used. So you get a free $90. So it took $90 off the Carrack straight from the get-go. Yeah. All right, moving along because we've got to get a few more. So same thing as before with the Renegade for the for the
Yeah, it's the same as the Renegade. Yes,
so
for the
again,
Valiant.
just a slightly different skin. That's not really. Let's be honest, it's very little
Not worth
difference.
$20.
And you get a different gun layout, so it's just not worth it. Hammerhead, Paul, Hammerhead.
It's in a good position. It's one of those places that's going to, over the next couple of years, become a lot more useful as they add more multi-crew functionality to it. It's one of the baselines for multi-crew functionality. Like the Gladius is the hero ship of Squad 42. The Hammerhead seems to have been the hero ship of multi-crew and resource management. So if you like big guns, it's okay, but you gotta have friends.
Algared?
And it'll increase in ability to be used when they bring out the different types of ammunition as well. So that'll increase that. Yeah,
it's way too expensive though. It's $725. It's a little bit on the pricey side for what it actually does. So
comparable to other ships that are very close to it, like the Polaris, which is much better. So these ships are essentially overpriced. This group of ships, so the Nautilus, the Perseus, and this. So anything else you want to add?
I think the Perseus is cheaper. The Perseus is like $60
overpriced.
$675. It's $50 cheaper, but it's not out yet. So imagine it going up by $50, and it's the same price. For me, I think there's a little added thing I would add here is now with that new Maelstrom system and the breakability, they have actually said that you can now bust into other ships, like on the side of the hulls and stuff. That will be a thing in the future. This thing is designed for ramming, so this will be essentially getting extra functionality in the future. What that how much that is entailed and how that all comes out, time will tell. But there is now a little glimmer of hope for this ship, as in a little bit beyond its normal scope.
Beyond.
It does have an airlock right at the front.
Yeah, you can see it in the picture, can't you? Yeah.
Yep, you can see that kind of little mouth in the picture, and that's the airlock. And it looks like it's for boarding. So,
all right, next one. We're getting there. Idris P.
You can't buy it. It's already sold out.
Yeah, it's already sold out. But Algared, tell us about this, because we know you got one. So tell us about it. Why would I want this, Algared?
Because you can go Star Trekking across the universe. It's a mini carrier, basically. It's got room for 2 fighters. It comes with a MPUV, which means it's already got the best ship in the game.
The King.
It can be upgraded to
the Orange King
and an M in game. So,
and there's a kit for it too, isn't it? That makes it the K that you can buy. Now, I had a person ask me about that earlier today, so I'll just reiterate that now. You cannot see the K kit until you own a P. So you'd have to buy the P, and then it appears as an extra in the extra section of the store. Right, Paul, is there anything you want to add about the Idris?
The P is it's going to be expensive to use and operate, but it's probably one of the new, like, almost, if Squadron 42 comes out next year, you will have a P next year.
Yep.
Like, hands down, you will have it within 12 months if Squadron 42 comes out in 12 months. Whenever Squadron 42 comes out, this ship will drop in Star Citizen. So it's going to be the first big capital ship we have. So
yeah, it's definitely a more combat focused craft over, say, something like the Kraken. I think the Kraken's probably got a bit more versatility personally. But I think this is built for war, where that is built for a little bit of everything. And this will obviously, much like the Gladys we mentioned before, this being a ship for Squadron 42, it is going to be polished, really, really polished. And a lot of the gameplay you see in Squadron 42 will directly be available in here, like that hologram shooting lens and stuff like that. That'll all eventually be available in this. So yeah, right. Algared, why do you own 3 of the Javelin?
One, because from the first batch. 2, because $100 million needed to be crossed by something beside the paint. And 3, there was one in a pack.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about.
Yeah, left it under his bed. Right. Paul, I was going to say, do you know why Algared is crazy? But that's a given. But yeah, why would anyone want Javelin?
Why would anyone want a Javelin?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want a Javelin? If you are a massive org, and I mean a huge org of people, because it's like, I think it's minimum 50 people to run this thing.
I think max is 80. Currently, max is 83.
83. You're probably able to that's with absolutely every single station
Yep.
manned. That doesn't include like engineering and any other kind of rotations. So you're looking at this ship is something that's like 2 to 3 times 83. So my math is going to be off, but like, you know, it's in the 150 to 200 range of capable crew for this ship.
And they may change things
But
too.
it does only have 80 life pods.
Yeah, they may
Yes,
change things in time too, though, right? So there may, like, I've often theorized this, like what it is in Squadron 42 may be very different what ends up being available in the multiplayer, because you have to make concessions for a multiplayer to a single player game. So, but no, I don't disagree. At the moment, on paper, the statistics are 83, and with what happened with the Idris, like that had to grow its crew out because of rotations as well. But again, with players, we might not have rotations. You see what I mean? So
no. But I mean, just with 83, it's a lot of people. It's the most people it's required for any ship to man fully. And that's with anybody. Like if somebody has to go pee or somebody has to like log off for the night, you're going to need somebody else. And the other thing is that the Javelin isn't storable. So it's not going to be one of those things you can store. You're going to have to keep it out. So there's like
space locked, isn't it? It can't go down to planet.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Aegis.
It is also the ship that was designed as the raid ship.
Yep.
So it was literally designed for you and your org to get on the ship and do your raid. It's not an everyday daily driver. There'll be some people who try and do that and wonder why they lose their ship. But
much like the Idris, though, it is also very combat focused. It is incredibly combat focused. It is like if something's going to die, this is what you take. Yeah. So all right, moving on. We have the Nautilus. Oh yeah, it does have modules. It's got 6 modular rooms. But we don't kind of really know what they are yet. We can kind of guess, but we don't really fully know what they are. All right, Nautilus, the mine layer Algared. Would you like to tell us about that?
It's a mine layer. It's actually a mine layer and mine sweeper. So it can drop its mines. Probably the key thing that will determine how good this ship ultimately is how good the mines are, because that's its bread and butter.
Agreed.
But it is a ship for not only laying mines but sweeping mines. Other ships with drones could actually have the Shepherd drone, not the Shepherd drone, but the drone that lays and picks up mines. But it is the only ship so far that we have that can actually store the mines safely.
I think the only two
also has
the only 2 things I'll add to that is that they also do maintenance. The drones do maintenance, and they're not just mines, but there's also sentries. So you can actually drop like little robotic turrets, much like the mines. I think that's the only thing you missed, Algared. Everything else was spot on. Paul, anything else you'd like? Go ahead.
I was still going, but
go ahead.
I was going to say they'll have one size 7 man turret at the front instead of 2 like a Percy.
And it was the first ship that got the size 7s, wasn't it? So when it dropped, everyone was like, oh, like they were going crazy. And now we've got like 7 different ones since then that have done that. All right, Paul, anything you would like to add?
Nope. That's pretty much it. I have one of these because someone gave it to me. I don't know why, but I just have it. All right. Someone was just like, "You're cool, you have it." So I don't have any opinion on it right now.
I'm going to take this one.
So you can low mine to kill the Redeemer.
I'm going to take this one. So this is the Reclaimer. This is my favorite ship. It's built for salvage.
I freaking hate all of you.
It's the Reclaimer. What are you talking about? What's wrong with the Reclaimer?
I hate the Reclaimer. I thought you said the Redeemer. I was like, no. But yeah, the Reclaimer's great.
Don't worry, Paul. You're talking about the Redeemer when that comes up. Don't you worry. Yeah. So the Reclaimer is salvage. I really like the idea of this. It's got a bit of exploration element, and at $400, it's one of the cheapest capitals in the game right now, behind a few others like the Endeavor and Crucible. Algared.
Okay, X. I've got to ask, how on earth is a Reclaimer into exploration?
So it's.
Now, I know this.
Yeah, I know. For the audience. So basically, they talk about like when you go into the hull of another ship to strip all its components out, you never know what you're going to find, right? And they've talked about, finding like a whole bunch of aliens or like deadly viruses or diseases or nothing. And I always think of the scene from Lost in Space with Matt LeBlanc, where he has that metal thing and all those little spider things. It's something akin to that.
Start calling out.
Yeah, you just don't know what you're going to find. And that's what I like about it.
And to tie in with this, the whole theme of Reclaimer when you go inside is very Nostromo, very alien. So you get that sense an alien is going to pop out of somewhere. So it does have that sense. I really want a Ripley loader. A Ripley,
power loader.
Style loader.
The kitchen in this is straight out of the scene where the chest burster is. All right, Paul, tell us all about your favorite chip.
Is that the next one? Is that the one we're doing now?
Yeah. This is your favorite chip. Go for it, Paul.
So it's a flying garbage can. It's terrible. No one should buy it. Yeah, we're done. I'm good.
All right. On a more positive note, so Paul really hates this thing because of law reasons.
Well, but there's other reasons, but I will do my best to be fair.
Right, you go fair, and then we'll pick up the slack. Go nuts.
It is a multi-crew ship. This is not a ship you're going to solo. In fact, there was a moment in Pyro where we ran into a Redeemer that was landing, and we were doing an operation during the Pyro preview. And I was like, was a Redeemer coming down? And everyone in my crew said, is it solo or they're a group? And I said, it's a solo one. And they're like, don't worry about it. So like, it's one of those, it's a joke solo. You have to have friends. And I think a lot of people are upset about that right now because they want to use it as a beat stick. But it is a multi-crew gunship designed to fight, designed to use multiple people in it. So
punches up really well. And it also scales really well. So as soon as you have those two people, right? If you like a hurricane's really good for two people, right? But this works with two people. But then as soon as you add people after that, it just gets better and better. So you've got one on the turret on the top, then another person on the turret on the bottom, and then you got another person on the turret on the back, and then you've actually got drop ships, and it's modular. That's the other thing that really I so many people forget it's modular. So right now it's tailored to a long range escort, but they also John Crew said most likely modular is going to be the original concept of it, which was the short range drop ship. So think something like SAS, Navy SEALs, Special Forces type of thing. And the most likely last one is a cargo module that also allows it to do bounty hunting, because you can put the bounty hunting modules in it. And you might even be able to put I don't know if it's big enough, but you might be able to put a small vehicle like a Cyclone in that bottom cargo bay as well. And if you get all that, that is an insanely good combat chip. And that's why I brought it. It is not cheap at that price. 330. Nope. That's the same price as a Caterpillar, just to put that on perspective. More expensive than, say, a Constellation that's twice the size. And that's also a gunship freighter. And that thing's like, what, almost $45 cheaper. So it's not baby's first ship type of thing. You were overbuying for it. Algared, I think you'd kind of agree with me on that. Cool.
Yep.
I said, but you need friends. I'm going to continue to emphasize this. You need friends.
At least one.
Otherwise, I get frustrated by this ship because even though it's a relatively new ship in the Aegis lineup, when it was built and when they brought out the Javelin, the Javelin hanging bay was built specifically to take a Redeemer.
Yeah.
Which to me didn't compute. And the engines on this are so unique that for me it breaks immersion in the world, because you'd expect to see that engine elsewhere.
Yeah. But those engines are very decisive in the community. That you either love them or hate them, and he's not wrong. They really cut the ship right down the middle for the community. I, for one, with the Javelin, I think it dovetails very well, the Javelin, just not this version. The dropship version makes so much more sense. Because
it does, absolutely. Yeah. But it's the law of fact that the Javelin's an old ship with a hang of it built specifically for that. And
for a new one. Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. All right, moving on. Retaliator base and Retaliator bomber.
Can I do this real quickly?
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
That's cheaper. Bomber's actually cheaper than the Eclipse.
Yeah, it is cheaper.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So be careful when buying the base. Because right now, in the past years, we've said buy the base. It gives you the bomber instantly. So if why would you ever buy the bomber? Because we were waiting for modularity. Modularity is on the track to hit next year. Yep. So you buy your Retaliator bases are about to be very useless in the game unless you pay for upgrades for the bomber upgrades, which are, I think, more expensive than the actual bomber.
So I'll actually disagree with you here, because I actually still think this is cheaper, because if you wanted to, say, get a cargo variant of the Retaliator, it would be cheaper to do it this way. Buy the base, and when the modules come out, buy the modules. Sure. And essentially, as you saw, you're almost getting this ship for half price, and you get the bomber as a loaner. I'm going to be honest with you, I literally, and Algared will back me up, I literally just brought a CCU for this today to protect it because it's going up. I'm like, yeah, if
I
I
think
want
I'm
one,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just brought one for like, I think I got a Dur to Retaliator because Dur's available every day of the week for $15. So I'm just going to sit on that and see if this goes up in price and just see what happens, right? I'm taking a speculative CC on that one. But again, if you buy this right now, you do get the bomber, but everything Paul said is correct. That modulator is coming down the line and you got to look ready for changes, and we don't quite know where it's going to go, but I'd assume with the way modules are, you'll be able to buy the modules once they all go online. So yeah, Algared?
Yeah. And if you look at the price difference between the Retaliator base and the bomber, that price difference is most likely going to be the price of the 2 bomber modules.
Exactly.
Now, because it's got 2 modules, a large front one and a smaller one, you could decide I want a small cargo one and a small torpedo one. You could decide I want a troop one. So doing the base, you will have that option when the modules come, but be aware, once modularity comes, and once we get the new version, I think that's when we'll get modularity, and that is going to have an impact on the loaner for the base when you'll lose the bomber.
So with the price on that, you can see why we recommended this over the Eclipse as well. And just to clarify what Algared was saying there, the modules that'll be available are cargo, troop transport, living quarters one, and the last one was the bomber ones. And they verify between back and front. There are some that work in the front and some that only work in the back. But I'm just shorthanding that so you could figure it out for yourself if you're interested in that.
Originally, getting the bomber variant was the only way to get the torpedo pods from memory.
No, you'll be able to buy the torpedo pods when they eventually come out, though. Yeah. Right. Convoluted. Let's move on. Right. Saber. Algared, tell me about Saber.
It's a Saber. The best Saber is the Saber Raven.
True.
Which is a
ship you can't buy.
Can't buy, so let's not talk about that one. You're going to make people sad, Algared.
Well, good. Saber gets a lot of bad press. People don't like the guns at the front. I think the best one is probably the E-Warfare one of the batch.
Yeah, the Raven.
But that's about it.
I think it looks very cool. I think it will get its time in the sun again. It did have its time in the sun previously. It just got nerfed a bit. I think with the way shields kind of work versus armor at the moment, it's just not in the best place again because we're waiting for armor to come in and stuff like that. Not that this ship is armor based. That's what freaks a lot of people out. Is it's more shield based, but for some reason it's just really nerfed at the moment, and it shouldn't be. It's meant to. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Paul.
I say also the atmospheric flight.
Yep.
Like this is going to be an atmospheric flight ship. Like this is going to absolutely fly circles around other ships in atmosphere. But it's got a big. And I'm learning to PvP, and in the PvP community, there are people who love this ship, and are very, very good with it. But it is got a hell of a pancake. Like when you pancake with this thing, and that cross section, that's a huge target you can hit.
But
so
also,
it's difficult with that.
Like the Eclipse and the Retaliator, it has a very small cross section from the front. So again, if you can position that on where you're moving, it's just that's what stealth is in this game. It's essentially minimizing your profile, so to speak. So if you can get that right down, literally the Retaliator bomber has the same size as this from the front. So you can make this really big.
It's made out of Retaliator bomber parts. It's made out of Gladius and Retaliator parts in terms of CIG's development. That's what they did.
Not that it's we haven't heard anything on this for years and years, but there used to be a thing about the paint too. They meant to have some kind of stealth paint, but we'll see if that develops or not. But for now, that's not a thing. But
it's also the Warbond deal, isn't it?
Yep. Oh yeah, that's a good time to mention that. So we got a CCU from this to the A1, and this is the Warbond CCU for today. So if you can pick this up yesterday's, you could actually go straight from this to the A1, and then the one yesterday that was from the A1 up as well. So you can get discounts for that as well. So linking yesterday's and today's together, but now you can't buy yesterday's. I don't think you can. Yeah, but anyway.
You can.
You can? All right, so there you go. So there's still 2 there that you can dovetail together if you don't have them. So that's perfect. Sorry, I didn't check that, but thank you for checking that out, Algared. Right. Next one. We're almost done. Save a comment.
I gotta
any of the skin ones? Don't buy them because it's not worth it. We're into the Vanguard series, so I think we can smack these 4 together. They are all kind of. I think they're personally. I'm just going to give them my 2 cents, and you guys can weigh in. I think they're all kind of in a
Sure.
bad place. I think the only one that's got any validity is the Sentinel, because all the others are beaten by other ships now, and they're meant to be long-range fighters. They probably will get their time in the sun, but it's that long-rangeness, the ability to just strike further than anywhere else. But as soon as you compare them to something that's like in normal spaces, in like this compares to the Gladiator, and the Gladiator's got the same torpedoes and everything, but it's like literally almost $120 off, you know? Algared, your thoughts on the
I will
Vanguard?
on the Vanguard, and I will say that I was mixing the Sabre up with the Vanguard when I said that nose guns people hate.
Yep.
My apologies for that.
That's all right.
But the Vanguard, the big thing that sets the Vanguard apart from every other ship is it was a ship built with the idea of redundancy. So it has, people have found component boxes or little storage boxes underneath the stairwell. Oh, look, there's a little storage. No, that's your components. That's where that's where the extra components go for redundancy. So
what Algared kind of means by that,
allocation,
real quick, it essentially means it's got two of almost every component. So if you lose one, you've got a backup one, and they're hidden all over the ship. He's not wrong.
And that means that when we've got the routing of power and the relays, this ship will probably be better than most. It's in lore, it's supposed to be a ship that is blow it apart, and it still comes home. That's because it's got redundancy upon redundancy upon redundancy.
So, Paul, do you want to tell people about the modularity nature of the ship, though? Because that is a big plus in its favor.
So this is the problem with it, is that it's been back and forth about its modularity, because originally the idea was that they sold these things called battlefield upgrade kits, upgrade kits, BUKs. And the bucks were the idea is that the centerpiece of the Vanguard, the middle section beyond the aft of the cockpit was modular. You could swap it out to other things. And the problem is that since they started making them and actually building them, they're like, yeah, we'd have to do completely geometry change, like half of the ship to be able to do it. So there's still some iffies about it, but it could possibly in the future be a modular ship because it was originally designed to be. And if that's the case, then basically you just buy one and then you could slap whatever module you want onto it and it would change its purpose. So,
So just I'll clarify that real quick. So there's actually a pod at the back, and essentially that pod swaps out. So say you brought the Warden here, and it's got the Warden skin on it. You can then take the Harbinger module and slap that modular pod in, and it gets the benefits of the Harbinger, but it might not get the armor from the Harbinger, as an example, because the armor's on the outside. So it's partially modular, and that's what makes it a little bit weird. And I think that's what you're trying to get at, Paul. Because
well, like the Harbinger has a specific like exterior model for like the missiles coming out, which none of the other ships do.
Exactly.
So you wouldn't have that. So like if you put the Harbinger module in the Warden, you may not be able to actually use the torpedoes, which is what it's designed to do. So so there's some of them may be easier to swap out than others. So
and different turrets, like one of the Harbinger turrets like fire dumbfire missiles, where the other ones have guns. So there's more. There's lots of changes. Algared?
And the other thing is, while the Warden's midsection is often seen as the worst or the least beneficial, it is the one with the life pod. So that section for the Warden is the life pod for 2. But I think when you go the Harbinger or the E-Warfare version or even the the Hoplite, you're losing your life pod, but you're gaining that other functionality.
Yeah, they all have strengths and weaknesses, long story short, but like this is just a system that wasn't thought through. And those nose guns Algared talked about is probably the whole reason why most of us don't like the ship, because it's got these bespoke guns that just don't work, and they really need to be removed and just maybe put around the outside of the nose or something like that, or better yet, just put on the wings or something and don't worry about there being nose guns, because it just makes it really convoluted compared to other ships. All right.
Like it.
Yeah, well, each to their own. Again, it might be something that people like, but most people don't like it. Well, put it this way: see the 6 and Inforunner, he had all of them and he melted them all. So
He decided they butchered it.
Yeah. All right, Vulcan. Algared, tell us about the Vulcan.
At its price, it's not worth it. If you're looking for repair, I think you're better off paying an extra 150 and going up to the cult, becoming a member of a cult of Crucible.
Yep.
But this does have value in that it's the type of ship you will move
Mm.
closer to the front and use its drones to do
Yep.
repair for things. But
Kind of small ships and vehicle repair, I think, covers it. Yeah.
Roadside assistance.
There
That's
we go.
my thought.
Yeah. Good
It's
ship.
a roadside assistance vehicle.
Not out yet. Probably one of the first ships we'll see with drones. If you're into repair, as Algared said, I think the Crucible's just, we'll put it this way, the Crucible's $150 more, but it's like 3 times the ship. You know, not double the
If
ship.
if you're a logistics person though, if you love the logistics angle of things, of like putting things together and planning out and like helping out you want to be a support crew for like combat ops. This is a great ship for that. It's very niche.
So it's the Crucible though. The Crucible's got cargo and all that as well, so it's got to have the logistics.
It is, but it's not quite. It's a little bit bigger. It's going to be a little bit more of a
I'll give you that
crew hog. So like this is like 1 or 2 people. So
yeah, I'll give you that.
Yep. The Crucible is more a FOP rather than a or a FOP rather than a observer or something like that.
So, all right, last thing, we're just going to go over that at CCU again. Saber Raven to the A1 Spirit that is available, and as you can see, there is the War Bond edition there for so loading. There we go, for $5. Right. Other than that, that is everything. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. That's been Aegis Day. Anything else you want to add, Paul? Paul, where can people find your tours again, just real quick?
Twitch.tv/theastropub and youtube.com/theastrohistorian.
Cool. And just let us know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below if we've been a bit too crazy on some of the things we went through there. But a lot of these are really long established things. Like for these videos for us are really old hat. They haven't really changed too much in the last 3 or 4 years. And if they get updated, we update them. But yeah, so yeah. All right. He's been Astropub, aka Paul. He's been Algared.
And he's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.